I'll start it off by saying, YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy, Buddha, back in the building with my two co-hosts for another LC Pro podcast. We got Tweacz.
Maybe we
Silent.
have Tweacz.
I said, "What's up, fellas?"
You did?
I did.
No,
Neither of us heard.
Neither of us heard that.
My bad.
And the sleepy TheKryptman.
All right, scrap the whole thing. Let's start from the top. Let's do it again.
Heck no. I like that. Can't always be perfect, Crypt. You gotta show.
Off the cuff, Grip. Off the cuff.
You gotta
I get
show
it. Yeah, that's
your
fine.
flaws and imperfections. Gotta
But
relate
Buddha,
to the
my flaws and
people.
imperfections are so many.
It's your one chance to be normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, JK. It's boring to be normal.
A little bit.
Yeah. Speaking
You know
of
who's not normal? Ruuto.
Hey.
Ruuto's not normal. Segway.
Segway. He is
Segway, bro.
not the normal. Did you see the 133K Demos? Ruuto sucks. Oh, I'm drawing up some talking points to the boy Ruuto, and
I've got a list of talking points for the boy Ruuto if you want to hear them.
perfect. Tweacz did say you have played with him.
Listen, I don't think this is the amount of talking points that you're.
This is not the list that you're thinking it is, Buddha.
Oh, goodness.
All right, here are the reasons that Ruuto is a bad unit. He does no damage.
Zero.
Ruuto does zero damage.
Zippo.
His S2 isn't even an attack. What kind of unit doesn't have an attack for their S2? S3, bad range, bad damage, bad break value, line of sight, bad skill. He's slow. This man needs all the speed. He's so slow. And he doesn't have a good move to target attack. Who doesn't have a good move to target attack other than, like, PB Chin? He's bad at dying, which means that his passive never goes off. That's points against him. He can't solo Pablo, right? And he makes S. Kyle less good just by being there. And those are the reasons that Ruuto is a bad unit.
Wow. What a way to kick this one off.
I literally wrote down a list of all of these things over the past couple days as I thought of them.
That's
I was
great.
dying.
That's great.
So these are the reasons that Ruuto is a bad unit. All right, moving on. What else are we going to talk about this podcast?
Move along. Move it along.
Interesting. Interesting.
I hope you know that he's moderately joking during most of that.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's all sarcasm.
Of course.
Oh,
This is the first unit that it's actually not important that he doesn't do any damage.
It's also not. It's also absolutely vital that he probably should not dual wield. Weird.
Also not a dual wield unit, yeah. Barlene's going to be shocked when we're like, hey, Barlene, we're not dual wielding Ruuto. Because I believe right before the unit came out, Barlene was like, y'all aren't going to like him. You guys
Right.
aren't going to like him
Right.
because he's single wield. No way.
so
Since, us global folks dual wield everyone.
are those typical responses you've been seeing in the community? Is that where
Me?
all that came from, or is that straight from you, Crypt?
No, those are all from me.
Oh, wow.
That's from him, man.
Those are all just my take.
Those are hot takes.
Wow. Yeah. No, you just threw me off completely.
I mean,
got him.
he's a super unique unit. It's not really important that he doesn't do any damage. He has so much utility. He is useful nearly everywhere that you want people to not die, which is basically everywhere. And I actually did find a really great way to make his passive go off. That whole bad at dying thing is completely and totally... you can look past that because he can just soul spark. And and then he kills himself,
Right.
and his passive goes off, and everybody gets the flinch resistance, and everybody gets the buffs, and obviously you've got, some kind of revive on him, and he pops back up like a daisy and gets right back to it.
Yep.
How does that passive work? Is it only when he's dead, or is it a buff
Nope.
that procs?
It is a buff that procs when he dies.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
So it is a lot better than I
It's,
initially thought.
it's useful. Yes.
So Ruuto dies, everybody gets 40 seconds of flinch immunity, and 50% defense, and 50% mind.
So is pirate ship still as useful with him in PvP?
I know Tweacz did some testing sans pirate ship, and it seemed to go okay. I still think it's good.
It's very good. I did do some testing without it. It's just if you want to don't use pirate ship, you have to use a very, very defensive team.
Yeah.
Or else someone's gonna get whopped.
You have to survive the first 10 seconds.
Yeah. In which case, like, you're not gonna do any damage if you do.
Although if
you've
you've got Ruuto and you've got his paid armor and you can get his S2 off reliably and quickly, and if you've got enough mind on him that it actually taunts everybody, maybe pirate ship isn't the most important thing because they're only going to be hitting him. But that's a big if. That's a lot of
minimum, at minimum, you're going to, if you get a quick trigger off to get it, sure, that's probably the best part about it. Or the best way to use it. Now, you can only get up to, without using Abandoned City, you can get up to 43 SC out of the 45 necessary for an S2 off the rip.
With his paid,
With the paid
skill
armor.
charge 2 and
paid,
the poem book from
Right.
William Blake's poems
Yes.
from the Devil May Cry collaboration.
So that's 20.
I thought that was such a weird thing. I'm sure it ties into like V's character or something, but I just thought that was such a weird thing. Like, why is this a book of William Blake's poems? All right, whatever.
But if you get, so that's 43 SCT for the S2, and then if you get like a quick, on a instant attack from the enemy, a quick couple guards, he can shoot it off real quick. But yeah,
Typically, you're looking at like 3 or 4 seconds.
I mean,
before
max
you go off.
max 2 seconds, right? Because he only needs 2 seconds to fill it out. So within 2 seconds of the battle, he might use it. But I usually see it off real quick because I do use his paid armor. I know a lot of people, you don't like paid stuff, but it's for his arena build. It is night and day for the first.
Yeah, that
Off
makes
the rip.
me sad.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. Oh no, I gotta find magic up.
I mean, he's not unbeatable by any means.
Right.
Like, there's
Right.
definitely ways to kill Ruuto, or even better, there's ways to ignore Ruuto.
Yeah.
Even if you're getting like taunted. So let's talk about his S2 for a second, right? So it's not an attack, but it is a big old taunt, and it's a big old taunt that has better chances of going off if your mind is higher than your opponent's, as
Right.
I understand it.
Yeah.
And what it does is it locks all units taunted onto him. So if you go and you hit switch target, it pops up this thing. It says, "Hey, you can't do this.
Really?
Hey, you can't switch targets. You are locked in by a skill." What it does not prevent you from doing is moving around and using all of the attacks that you don't have to have a target.
Right.
So, like, if
Or
you've
heals,
got
yeah.
or heal, if you've got like an S2 that's just an AOE that goes off as soon as you click it, you can still run up beside a unit and do that. It's less convenient. You're not going to be able to like focus DPS on somebody unless you've got several of that skill. But there are ways to do damage to get around his taunt. It is massively inconvenient and massively annoying.
Right.
But it is possible, which is good. It's good that there's some counterplay there.
Okay.
Yeah, let me jump in here to see if I can get him to shoot the taunt off real quick.
Because otherwise, they're.
Yeah. So here we go. I got taunted on. It's 4 seconds into the battle.
Yeah, there you go.
On MTheria, which is surprising because MTheria has the highest mind of my entire team. So she got taunted. No one else did. It is by chance. But right now you can see, like, if I do this and press switch target,
Wow.
Target is set by fixed target's effects.
but everyone else can go about normally. So if I go, let's do this. If I go like this and switch target with anyone else, it's fine.
Oh,
But-
so okay.
MTheria, so it is by chance. It's not a guaranteed taunt. And I'll put this on auto to see if I can get another taunt off.
How perfect is getting MTheria taunted on him, though? Because she's going to shoot at him with those 0 damage attacks that
Right.
definitely don't have, like, shockwave or anything on him to break his guard. So she's just going to
100%.
sit across the field, feeding him skill timer, feeding him MP.
Right.
Wow.
It's
So,
real good and real annoying.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking, that's a very toxic ailment lineup.
I was looking at that.
Anyways, So I'm gonna just leave this here for a little second, see if we get another taunt. But like, yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, like Crypt was saying, you can still use the AOE the AOE skills to use. Oh, here we go. There's another one. So DB Ray is now locked on him at 72 seconds. And now I can't switch.
So, by the way, the skill timer's 45 seconds, right?
Yeah.
He got the first one in 3 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds, and then he got another one in what, 18?
I mean, yeah, at the 18 mark or a little like 17 mark, yes, because of all the guards. Guard charge is OP.
Guard charge OP. Guard charge and guard impact OP.
I love that skill.
Every time, so I will explain the guard charge. So if people don't realize what the guard package is, it's essentially guard and vigilance, which gives you, it's either a 15 or 20% guard chance. And then you have guard charge, which is every time you guard, you get 1 SCT. Heal guard, every time you guard, you get healed based on your mind stat. Every time, and then there's magic guard, which is getting 1 MP per guard, which works with celestial mass a little bit. And then you have spell guard, which lets you guard against, which while he's unflinchable to magic, it will help you guard against magic, and just further get you more MP.
Right.
I almost don't like that, because like the whole point of him not flinching to magic is that you can act under it, right? You can run around and do stuff while it's going off. But if he's got spell guard, he just stays in place. It effectively locks him in as if he were being damaged. I'm not saying it's a great idea to just like yeet that out the window, but it's definitely a consideration to be made depending on what you're trying to do.
Here's the thing. The reason I like it on him is because you do kind of want him guarding as much as possible.
Oh, for sure. And with all the increased guard stat stuff that you put on him, it's worth. But
if he's jumped into guarding on a spell and then gets hit by a physical attack and he's already guarding, that helps the survivability a hell of a lot.
Fair enough.
In my opinion. I mean, obviously people don't have to use it, but
well, it also depends on what you're doing, right? Like if you need him to be mobile, if you can't allow him to be locked down because you don't have any other answer to magic, maybe not having that on there so that instead you can run up and start abusing the mage is a good plan. But if you have other stuff you can do, or you're just playing that insanely tanky, like take your time kind of team, yeah, it's a solid play. Being able to guard magic is OP.
Yeah, without even being hit. Like really,
but it's all as with everything in this game, it's all context sensitive. It all depends on what you're trying to do.
Yep. So, but this is the S2. So I've gotten 2 off already. Let's see how long. Honestly, let's see how long it takes me to get 3.
Another one.
Yeah. So he's locked. This lock does last 10 seconds, and I don't know if he can fire off another one within that 10 seconds if he had one. I
mean, I would assume that if he gets the SCT for it, he can just fire it, right? I don't know how it would interact with a unit that's already taunted, but like because it's just a chance, there's almost always going to be units that are not yet taunted.
Toxic ass Tyria.
Yeah, I'm just kind of. I realize now that like 10 seconds is going to take a while. So
10 seconds is actually going to take 15 minutes.
Let's see if Ruuto uses another one. But like I usually get like 4 or so per match, which is there's another one.
Can we bring up how badly they need to remove time stop from all the healing spells in Arena?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, it's the worst thing.
So I've already gotten 3 in the matter of less than
30 seconds.
That's wild.
Yeah. It is pretty wild. But he is far and away an Arena unit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he'll do good in PvE content, like but he's not going to kill anybody.
Content. He's no MTheria. He's no enabler. He's more of a grab the attention of the enemy,
suck in some damage.
Take all the brunt of the damage, but he's not going to be the that passive shield like MTheria does with her buff passives.
So the way I'm hearing is that you either bring him or Tyria, but if you have Tyria, you're bringing Tyria.
I think so, in my opinion, because you can make an allure build on someone else. Like I was talking to you before, I still prefer my
Tank
Tank
Balin.
Balin, my allure Tank Balin, in content that I want to use a survivable tank or use an allure build.
Yeah.
Just because he is, again, MTheria at heart in PvE content is an enabler. Or she's a survivalist, sure. She'll help your team survive, but she's an enabler for your physical DPS and your damage dealers.
Right.
She brings that shield, she brings the barrier, she brings all of the damage mitigation that lets your units take way less damage to proud force it all back and be at full health and get all those procs and all the good stuff. So Ruuto can't really do much of that. He's more of just like a solo, I'll take all their attention.
Ruuto is an incredible wall, and
yeah.
one of my favorite niche builds for him is just Glass Record spam, because he's got that built-in 50% cast speed on healing magic.
For sure.
So that you slap high-level magic chant on him, you give him immovable object, and then he just stands in place and casts Glass Record over and over and over again.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he does have to get hit for his regen, though. Like, he's not going to be passively regenning mana like MTheria would, or like Sinku would, or any of the mages that have like high MP base and then auto circles. But he definitely has a unique way to go about regenerating all of his mana. So just having him stand there and take all the hits while constantly casting Glass Record is massively cancerous.
Yeah, I like that. Sadly, it's not something I'll be able to do.
I mean, you can always poor man's Glass Record, which is you put Spirit Breath on everybody and have them cast Healing Wind over and over.
Correct. Yes.
That's the budget
Glass
version.
Record.
That is budget, and it does work.
It works great.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Especially if you've got Theria, because every time she heals, it puts up her shield. It like refreshes it.
Right.
Yep.
So that's definitely the poor man's Glass Record right there.
Yeah, that's what I'd have to do.
So I would say he is the first unit that we've had ever that can instacast Glass Record without any items, any equipment, any arc. He can literally just do it with his plus 50% cast speed and high level magic chant as a passive.
Nice.
Not MTheria can't do that. Not even anyone with. I mean, he doesn't have to use recast. Like,
right.
No one can do it except him.
Gen can do it with the Valentine's arc and the Rad Moon and all the ridiculous stuff. You're saying he can do it just alone.
Ruuto can do it naked.
Naked.
Wake up in the morning, roll out of bed, no armor on, cast Glass Record.
Yeah, pretty much. That's like, and that figure that we're looking at is that 70% cast speed. So he gets the 50 from his passive, as well as 20 from high level magic chant, and that is good enough for any healing spell in the game so far that we've had to instant cast it. And Glass Record has always had the longest cast time out of all of them, so that's pretty awesome.
That is very awesome.
To do it essentially naked.
Right. Very low
and
cost.
You can build him however you want. Other units are crushed by having to use either recast and or Rad Moon and or having high level magic chant.
Or the arc, like having Light of Science helps.
Light of Science or the Banquet arc, yes. It's like one or the other. Kind of have to use it, but yeah.
Ruuto can do it without any additional help. It's pretty nice.
Which is pretty wild to have on a unit as a tank.
Yeah.
Bro, he's a paladin.
You wouldn't expect it.
It's extremely paladin archetype, like, correct for him to do that, right? For him to be just a big old fat thick tank and also be like a pretty decent healer.
I mean, look at those thighs, bro.
Dude, his art is actually pretty fire.
It's dope,
his art's
man.
Incredible.
Yes.
It's so shiny.
Yeah, the armor is insane. The blade is insane.
The blade is insane. I like those like crystal spikes behind them. Like they're like.
Tsukasa might be the strongest primate high schooler, but Ruuto is the shiniest paladin. I almost said stepbrother. Shiniest paladin brother.
What are you doing, step bro?
What are you doing, step paladin?
Oh my god.
Oh man.
I'm gonna have to flag this video myself.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine. Don't worry so much about it.
Jokes.
So, Crib, you were talking about his skills. Do you want to go through those a little bit? So, his S1. You want to talk about his skills a little bit?
His S1 does some really goofy stuff. So it's just a point blank like sword slash, but then it pulls everybody in. It like concentrates everybody in the middle, so it's like a gather skill.
That's in range.
I haven't tested it too thoroughly, but Demos was saying that he was pulling stuff that like other skills he has used have not been able to pull.
Right.
Like some of the big bird bosses and stuff. So who knows what all you can pull with that? Mm-hmm. I was running Ruuto in multiplayer, which is really a problem. Don't run Ruuto in multiplayer unless you know there's somebody on your team that can do damage, because otherwise the fights are going to take like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was running up and using S1 and stuff, and it was moving the bosses around, and I had plenty of time to kind of screw around with it because everybody on my team was terrible. But it's a super cool gather. It pulls them all into the middle like you like. That's a great level of control, both for PvP, where it is advantageous to gather up everybody so that you get like higher multipliers on your damage by virtue of hitting 3 or 4 people, as well as great for PvE because it keeps targets in front of him. It pulls them off of your other units if you're positioned correctly and keeps them on him. His S1's very good. I'm real confused about why his paid weapon increases the damage of Southern Cross by 25%, because 0 plus 25% is still 0.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. Some of the paid weapons, that's like similar to, I mean, I get Nero does damage, but similar to his paid weapon. In which
Nero's at least makes sense. Like, Nero is a damage unit. Mm-hmm. Ruuto is not a damage unit.
But to affect one skill, like, I don't know. It doesn't really make much sense to me. It's a similar setup to that. Just like plus 25% on one skill is kind of silly.
Yeah, like why wasn't it just
plus 25%?
Why wasn't it just 25% to skill damage?
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
Okay, my Ruuto is now Awakened 5.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So his S2. You want to talk about that? I did watch a little JP video basing on the amount of mind you have and the chance of it to proc.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So it reads, it's called Anchor Aid, his S2. This is the main skill. This is like the best skill in his kit for PvP.
The most unique for sure.
For the fixed target, all that stuff. So there's chance for temporary effect, making all enemies target unit. Chance up if mind higher than enemies. Chance down if lower. Chance up as skill level rises. So the last part, chance up as skill level rises, I'm just going to ignore that because we assume all of these units have full skill trees. Except for the mind part. Now, I was watching a little video the other day, and now if I can recall correctly, I'm assuming they tested it in an arena because they had 4 different substats of like plus, minus, plus. He had 4 different categories, as in like the varying mind compared to Ruuto's. And it was like minus 700, minus 200, plus 200, plus 700 in relation to Ruuto's mind.
So those are like the breakpoints?
Yeah. Oh, yes and no. That's just like where they tested it. It wasn't exact that,
Mm-hmm.
but it was
gotcha.
Where the enemy units had their mind at. Essentially at minus 700 to him, it had like an 84% chance of proccing. At plus 700, it was like 16% chance.
Oh, wow.
So, I don't know. I don't know if that was data mine. I don't know moon runes. So, you can tell me, anyone can tell me what it means. But those are the figures that I saw. And I can obviously read numbers. So, that's what I saw on the board as in the variations of mine. So, anywhere from, I'm assuming there's not a 100% chance. But anywhere from, let's say, 90 to 10% chance, depending on how big or how small your mind is compared to Ruuto's. So, that's why you don't see a proc every single time. But,
right. That's good to know.
So even more important than buffing up his defense, which he's naturally got just huge amounts of defense.
Yeah.
So like between putting defense up and putting mind on him, I would definitely just stack mind to the ceiling.
Right. And that increases his healing capabilities.
His base intelligence doesn't seem good enough to make it worthwhile to use the new wisdom thing, unless I'm mistaken, off of the new arc where it's 5% int gets added to mind and defense.
Yeah, that's definitely not meant for him. I don't think. I don't know. Damos was a big fan of that, but like, I mean,
5% of 600 is what?
Right.
30.
5% of 600 is 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, I mathed.
I thought you said 3, and I was like, wait a second, what is he talking about?
that is not correct.
I don't know if I taught to him yet. I thought I did, but it doesn't matter.
So I mean, 30 defense and 30 mind for what is it? 4 SC? 4 or 5?
I thought I had it on here, but I don't. As a segue, why don't we talk about his arc?
Why don't we talk about his arc? We can just discount his S3. It sucks. No, there's no reason to use his S3 ever.
All right, no, you're right. We should probably finish.
We do have. Yeah.
It's 4 SC for Wizard's Protection. So just to clarify.
Well, I mean,
for 30
int, 30 mind, that's not bad. If you have extra SC kicking around.
I mean, I don't
like
know.
it's not a top take, you know.
Not at all.
There are definitely other things I would use in its wake. So his S3. Let's talk about his S3. His S3 is literally just a damage attack. Now, I don't hate it because it is a charge. If it was just a normal attack, like AoE attack, it probably wouldn't be that good.
But it's such a short charge. And it's line of sight.
But it does, at minimum, it does get you into their face and you let you guard. So I'll give it a little props for that. But it's probably the least motivating for anyone to bowl him is his S3.
For sure.
I think it's meant to.
He's not your abandoned city unit.
Nope.
Right.
Definitely not.
Right.
Now his ult, invincibility. You should not. I still haven't used this in PvP. I still have never encountered any Ruuto getting this in PvP. So if you're getting this, I don't know how. But it is pretty wild because he gets an immunity for 12 seconds or 2 times his hit point pool.
Yeah.
And he does recover HP. So
I can tell you from experience that invincibility does not stop Soul Spark from killing you. So you can't ult and then Soul Spark. It still kills you.
Well, that bypass.
Right.
I mean, I figured it would, but I had to find out, right? Because if it didn't, that was going to be insane.
I saw it happen. That was pretty funny.
That was going to be absolute insanity if it worked that way. It's like, oh, cool. Ruuto just stack his life to the ceiling, give him Soul Spark, cast his ult, and then explode for 12 seconds as often as you can.
That's pretty funny.
So essentially, if I was to stack an arc on him, I'd probably put this.
I'd probably
put this arc. So let's see. I'd have about 13,000 health, right?
Lugan.
You can use Caldina, Lugan. Beast of the End is very good on him if you don't want credited. But I mean, there's plenty of options. He has a lot of room to work with for arcs just because he's so beefy.
I feel like comparatively, he has less health than Kyle does.
I think he does as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's harder to get him to like real high HP than it is Kyle.
Well, Kyle gets that base like in every single battle. It's either 2,000 or 3,000 extra health.
Yeah, it's
for sure. So I have him with all the HP ups. I've got him with his charisma, obviously. I've got him with fast vitality. So I went into a multiplayer room with one of my friends who kind of just started playing the game, and he was like, "How does your Kyle have 19,000 life?" And I was like, "Oh man, that's like the low end of HP flexes. Like, wait until I tell you about Rem.
Yeah.
Wait until I tell you about Rem with 82k health
For sure.
We can actually probably push that even higher now with Kyle, right?
Yeah, it's charisma.
An extra 6k on her health flex.
I mean, sounds like I'll have to test that sometime.
More testing.
It sounds like there'll be a new Reddit post. Oh my god, I hit 100k HP with Rem.
Get a life.
And you have to tag it as flex.
Yeah.
But yeah, so his S4 is going to be 2 times his HP. So we just saw that he has about 13,000 with an arc on him at how I have him built at the moment. So that would be either 26,000 hit points would be his shield, which he takes like 0 damage anyways. So like that shield's essentially infinite.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
It's gonna last the 12 seconds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just cool because we haven't had a unit yet that just completely nullifies damage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's
and
also got
obviously-
his trait where he gets physical immunity for 7 seconds the first time he would. Is it the first time he would die, or is it the first time he gets low life?
yeah,
I can't remember.
First time would take lethal damage. And that is Ether Shield. Yeah. When close to death. Okay, you're right. So when close to death, so it's gonna be the 30% or lower.
Mm-hmm.
And it also nullifies fainting. So he's got MTheria's party passive for himself, which is cool.
Which is selfish.
And DB Ray, DB Ray also has that. So we're getting to the point where there are many options, even without MTheria, for having an almost entirely faint resistant team. Not flinch resistant. Having an entirely flinch resistant team would be the most busted thing possible. We don't flinch at anything.
Pretty close to it, at least.
So that's how they're going to power creep Ruuto. Is they're going to release a tank who doesn't flinch.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. All right, so talking about his traits, paladin-wise, I think we all saw this on the general video. He nullifies flinch from magic attacks, so he's not going to flinch from literally any magic attack, which is cool. That makes him that much better of a healer. So in any given moment, any heated moment where there's magic spamming across the screen, like let's say in Reaper or Mother, the Reaper fight or the Mother fight, he can still cast healing magic to your team, and that's pretty important. I mean, I saw it. I was just running him on auto with a few other units in the Mother fight, and I saw him cast God heals, Stardust heals in the middle of just blizzards and tornadoes, storms, and all that kind of stuff. So
it's so satisfying to see him
really
march through a tornado.
Yep. Oh, it is.
It's like, oh, you're trying to launch me into the air? Too bad. I'm too heavy for that. It's like Claire, but for all magic.
No, his partial resistance to interruption when activating skills is essentially like super armor, like Roland has. It doesn't work every time, obviously, but it pretty much. I really haven't seen him get interrupted too much in PvP. Whenever I'm
his
watching,
skill animations are really short.
Yeah, and they're very fast. Even his S2, which is the taunt,
it just happens like instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing that takes the longest is the S3. It's the shoulder charge into the like AoE or whatever.
Yeah.
And like even that is over in like a second or two. I mean, it's not long at all.
Right.
There's not many attacks that are coming in, so
it makes sense though because it lets him go up against somebody in a trade with a skill and get his off where they will lose theirs. So again, it's very much about control. Ruuto is a true tank in that his role is to not die and to control who and what the enemy is attacking. He does take 100% bonus damage from field-wide effects, and I'm wondering, like, would Zekus's S3 count for that?
No.
Only things that affect everybody.
I think that when they say attacks that target all, I think it has to be like you can't have an attack that you can actually specifically lock on to.
Right.
Like
it's something that targets the field, not the enemy. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah. That was my assumption from it.
Is passive to take 100% more damage from that, but then your entire team takes 50% less damage from that. That's again extremely useful in those situations where a big AoE is going off and your entire team is stun locked, except for Ruuto just walking right through that magic and healing everybody.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Great.
It's awesome though. It's very interesting to see. Now, the last part of his Warcry trait is what you already discussed a little bit. Is when he's incapacitated, which is he's not very good at being incapacitated, to be fair. But if you force him to be incapacitated,
strap a bomb to his chest or something. Strap a bomb to his soul.
Right.
Everyone in the party gets defense mind up 50% and physical flinch null buff. So they literally get. I think was it 10 seconds we tested?
I don't remember. I don't recall what it was.
I think it's about 10 seconds that they get physical flinch null. They can't be flinched from physical attacks. So that's pretty wild. that if you can just like soul spark him off the rip, and some PvE content where you're gonna find him usable, you can do that. And I don't know when that's gonna be usable. Honestly, that's more of like a future site thing, when you can exploit that. Like I haven't found a use for it yet, but it should be.
It's just one of those weird niche things. Like it'll probably never have like a meta use, but you know, the thing I really want to do is build like a light dark control PvP team with like Ruuto as a light mage and DeGrogue as a dark mage and then Theria as the healer and then like I don't know, Alice or something. And just, you know, play a game of everybody gets pulled into the middle, everybody stays in the middle, and Alice eviscerates all of them with high-flying aerial stunts and rockets.
Very fun.
Yeah, I think there's some great PvP builds that aren't being explored right now because the teams that are meta are so meta. Like having Kyle, having Ruuto, having MTheria, having Gen on your defense. Like it doesn't really leave a lot of room for flexibility.
Why are you telling her?
What? Because it's public knowledge, dude. You can look at the board.
Selfish man.
But yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to talk about his guard package a little bit before we get into the arc.
Go for
his guard package is pretty darn complete. Anything you see on the screen that's not filled out is stuff I've taught him, obviously, because it is an SC charge or an SC cost. But he gets guard, which is 10% guard. Vigilance, which is another 10% guard chance. Now, that's 20% guard chance. If you add in Calamitous, which was the Zuglis event item, it's a sword. It is another 3% guard chance. And if you add the Bell of Warning, which is an accessory, which I think that was pretty early on, it's another 5% guard. So at base value, he can get 28% guard chance, which if you're coming up from an enemy that has that is dual wield and is coming at you, it is more likely that you're going to guard from a skill than not at any given time. So that's pretty wild.
You better bring Shockwave, folks, and Conryu
below,
Spear style.
And if he's below 50% HP, which is this, I believe the X guard, he gets a boost to guard, which if it works anything like Lanceful, that's double the guard rate. So I'm assuming it's similar to Lanceful. It's either if anything, it's 1.5. So let's say 42 to 56% guard rate at less than 50% health, which is pretty nutty. Now, what does that do for you when he guards? Well, you have Spell Guard. He can also guard against magic attacks. He has Guard Charge, which is the big kicker. He gets 1 SCT every time he guards, which, if you're dual wielding against him in arena, he gets twice as many SCT charges, which gives him his S2 twice as fast. If you want to add on to him, Steel Guard. This is minus 25% less damage during guard. Stack that with his X Guard, which is also a 9 at minus 15%. I don't know if these are additive or if these are multiplicative, so can't test it, not very well. There's also an accessory called the Shield of Aegis, which is from the Golem Core arc, I believe, which is another minus 25% stack. You also get Heal Guard, which is every time he guards, he gets an HP recovery. Now, this works with the Mind Stat, and we know how much the Mind Stat can heal on Prowl Forces. It's that same formula. If you use Dusk,
it's like reverse Proud Force.
Right, not necessarily Dusk because it doesn't work in Arena, but if you had in PvE, if you want to use Dusk, if you want to use Fast Matisse, Auto Matisse, that is going to give you a huge boost to the damage that you heal, or like the healing proc, right? Big fat stacks. I have seen plenty of times. I've seen him in my PvP sparring myself get 1,100-1,200 procs of heal guard. Holy
cow!
So like and he's got like 15,000 HP. So if he's going from 2,000 health, he's gonna rip it right back up. Magic Guard is going to be one of his bread and butters because I think his kit works very, very well with Celestial Mass. every guard he gets hit with, he recovers 1 MP. That's very important for. I mean, if you want to use him for Glass Record builds, or if you want to use him for Soul Spark builds, you're gonna 1 MP back. So I think this is pretty important on him. Even though he's not necessarily a mage or a caster's mage, he needs MP. Grand Guard break is less likely to occur. This is for those shockwave users, for those pretty much just shockwave users, honestly. This just gives you an extra little beefiness to not get broken out of guard. And there's a little lag when you get broken out of guard where you can't guard again, so that'll give an opposing enemy a little bit of an advantage. So I do strongly suggest using this in PvP. The next skill, we've talked about S-Guard a little bit. The next card is Guard Impact. Now, this is probably the most busted thing in this card kit. Zuglis had it, and
formerly unique to Zuglis.
Of course, his shift has it as well. Holy Knight Ruuto has it. This is fantastic. I forget what the chance is, but whenever you get attacked and you guard in PvP, it has a small chance to immediately flinch anyone in the small vicinity around him. Which, if they're in a skill and he's guarding, it immediately stops the rest of their skill. Now, why is this important? Or if there are other units like Kyle right next to you attacking the enemy, and he's not as defensively capable, or like Shift a little bit, not as defensively capable as you, you can flinch the opposing enemy immediately and have them, not only yourself not get hit, but your friends around you not get hit by the skill, because it stops the skill if they get flinched.
You can also deliberately park him next to people that you want to flinch. So as he's being chased around, you run and you just sit next to whoever you want to flinch. They don't even have to attack you; just somebody else has to attack you.
Yeah, that's wild.
Or magic. If magic is going off and his guard starts proccing, he'll start flinching people around him.
It's
that's so stupid.
It's so goofy.
Seriously wild. He gets Royal Armor for free, which is great. I mean, minus 50% chance of receiving critical hits. That's awesome. Now, I was talking about Magic Guard and being kind of synergistic between that and Celestial Mass. This is because he negates flinch from magic, so that's really not important. But when he takes physical damage, uses 3 MP to have the damage taken. Now, this is really good for Arena, in my personal opinion, if you're not using him for side heals. I have his priority set to S2, so he uses it up, obviously, whenever he has it up, because you saw me get 4 of them in the first 3 of them in the first 35 seconds. So I would say if you're not using him as strategy as healing, I would say you probably shouldn't use this. But it works really well with Magic Guard, but you honestly don't need it because he has such good damage reduction. But even if you get flinched and you're getting, let's say you get ripped by an offensive Kyle when you're on defense, all right? So you're an offensive Kyle, you get thrown up in the air, you have no way to guard, because you can't guard when you're in the air at all. This will help mitigate that damage very strongly if you already have MP. So I still do really, really like it on him.
Or a BB Shin.
It just absolutely amplifies his defensive capabilities and makes him essentially makes them waste a skill in PvP, which is big because still skill stocks and having skills available and making decisions like Crypt and I were talking about. How do you win in PvP? You use order of operations. What do you go after? What do you use skills on? It's skill management. You don't have all skills ever. So if you make someone waste one of their better skills to do damage, that's big. That's big. So
because it's all a timing thing, right? The whole point of SCT skills, your guard charge and stuff like that, is that you want to win time. You want to win on being the most advanced in time on getting all of your skills. Because time is of the essence, especially now that a lot of matches do drag out for a long time. You want to have that advantage, which is why, SCT skills have always been pretty top tier, which is why every unit that has innate SCT battery value has been just so prevalent. Like S Lilibet is incredible in PvE because she's just one of the best SCT batteries there is. She can fill anybody's skill all the way up and then pretty much immediately have all of her MP back. But yeah, you really got to focus on who you are taking down and how. It's all a resource management game. It's our resources versus your resources, and whoever is best at managing those in real time wins. So it's very important to, like, in a situation where you say have an MTheria on a team without a Kyle, you go after her. But if Kyle's there, you have to go after Kyle because otherwise you have to kill somebody 3 times over. Well, if Kyle's there, but Nero is also there, and Nero's going to blow out your team, then you have to figure out how to deal with Nero before you deal with Kyle, before you deal with Theria.
Yeah.
So it's a puzzle. PvP is a puzzle. And because of how it works, and because we're attacking other people who have their own unique builds and their own unique takes on things, every puzzle has a different solution, even if it's the same characters. Sure. You can run into a team that's the exact same characters that are impossible for you to beat as a team that you easily wipe, because one person understands what makes a good defense and the other person either doesn't, or your specific team is very good against them.
Yeah.
It's all a multi-part moving puzzle all the time, which is why I love PvP when I actually have to play PvP and I'm not just, shuffling for bots. Oh, yeah, I said shuffling for bots, and then I clicked battle, and a bot immediately popped up. Sweet.
Nice.
5 free points.
Nice, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, all in all, Ruuto is a fantastic tank. And Meowing is in the chat, so I will allow him to absorb that. He's a tank. He's a tank, crowd control, healer. He ain't no bruiser. He ain't doing no damage. Because even with a fully stacked... listen, I get it. I tried a fully stacked physical attack build, and he just does not do anything.
Wow.
And when I say he's not doing anything, when he gets an awaken boost for 50% strength against the first Pablo, he's hitting like 4K.
Oy.
With with
God,
swordsman's tail, a light weakness, I believe it's at one point, because I nuked his elemental weakness, a light weakness, and he was just was doing 4K, and I was like, all right, this is the first sign of never doing anything with his damage. Just build him defensively.
Yeah, there are very few characters that you can just entirely ignore attack. Ruuto is it. He is it.
Absolutely.
You can just 100% not worry about his attack stat at all, because he's never doing damage. There's essentially nothing you can do to make him do damage. Even for some reason, Soul Spark, which I believe the damage from that scales off of how much HP you have when you cast it. He had like 13k HP, and for whatever damage, Soul Spark was only doing 4k damage.
This
Jeez.
is not good.
It was probably the target that I was hitting, honestly. But that's a funny story anyway.
His multipliers are just not very good.
Oh, they're so bad. He's all about control, and that's a very different take on a unit.
Yep.
Medine kind of has that, but Medine can be made to do some kind of damage, right? I'm just waiting for that all-tank team. Like Medine, Ruuto. Nope, that's it. There's only 2 tanks. I guess Gorm, but he's really a support. Gorm isn't actually a tank. He's a healer.
Really?
just look at his ult.
I haven't looked. Oh, right, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
The ult.
Also, if you want an even better poor man's glass record that takes a little bit more setup, run Gorm and either Great War if you've got it, or poor man's run Great War. No, run Hidden Treasure, Makuyudine, or whatever it is. Give everybody Spirit Breath. And cast his ult, and it fills up everybody's stats because it's a bunch of AoE heals back to back, like 10 or something heals. So it's like 30 SCT for everybody on the field with Spirit Breath.
It is pretty awesome.
That does sound fun.
It's really fun to see.
That does sound very fun. Speaking of
the original SCT battery used him and OG Lilibet because she could charge his ult really, really quick with her S2. And then, he would refill her S2 with his ult, and it was just a never-ending cycle of stupid stuff. But now we have that compressed into one character in several characters.
Stream is down.
I got it back up. Hold on 1 second.
Speaking of arcs, shall we finally transition?
We got distracted.
We did. But
Very
that's all
Chad.
right.
I mean, Ruuto's he's a hot topic. What do you want? Chad
He
is.
is.
Chad needs the attention.
I love Chad.
But yeah,
Ruuto and his noodle damage are definitely a hot topic.
we can do. Let's talk about the arc. So this is the permanent arc that was on the banner. I got it. In the step up, so like I got an extend. Yes, I didn't wail for it per se. But it was kind of nice to get pretty quick. But I mean, does it work well? Let's talk about its passives, right? So its stats are pretty garbage, except for HP and mind.
Right.
I mean, MP's okay, but like everything else, nothing to write home about. It's actually way less than anything else. Pretty much any arc in the game is going to have higher strength and defense than this, especially SSR. But obviously, it's there to beef up that mind stat. So
It's got a pretty fat stack of MP.
it does.
70 MP is nothing to shake a stick
I
at.
think the reason it's beefing so hard on mind is because it needs to work with its passive, right? So, when near death, buff unit to nullify damage taken, and the durability of the shield that you get is 100% of the mind. So, it's literally just synergistic. It's trying to beef your mind up as high as possible to give you a huge buff, or a huge shield.
Mm-hmm.
So on Ruuto, that's kind of nice because you're going to be building his mind anyways because of his S2. So if you wanted to use it, it's just another full shield that he gets whenever it says near death. I don't know if it would waste the proc of that 7-second thing because it's near death as well, but it does recharge. So I mean, after 40 seconds of using it the first time, you can get it again, which is cool because later in battles you might need to use another shield. Now, Sun Resistance +2, kind of nice just to have off the cuff if you have a unit that you're ever going to use this on that you just don't need to use Stun Nil, which is a free 10 SC. But the big kicker is the last part of the passive, which I have procced a couple times against teams in PvP, which is very annoying. They've had this on their Ruuto.
Oh, it's so funny.
Or Sage Zekus that's sitting in the corner doing
Oh,
nothing.
Lord.
And I literally... So, here's what happens. So it says, when unit is alive and all allies are incapacitated, revive all allies with HP 50% once per quest. Now, what happens? So what is this? What triggers it? Well, if you have a unit in PvP that has this on them, let's say a Ruuto, and you kill all 3 of their teammates, it will work. If all 3 are in the death queue and they're responding and they have a little time ticker thing, they will immediately all disappear from the queue and all of their lives will come back. All three points will come back onto their. Yep.
Right.
So it's essentially a triple revive.
What a lot of people don't know is that when you revive a unit in PvP, it gives you that life back on your health bar. Like, so if you got, 6 healths or 6 lives and you lose 1 and then you revive that person before they naturally respawn, you get that point back. So that can, help stop a backslide like that. But it was one of the funniest things I've seen to watch Tweacz be in PvP, and he killed their whole team except for
which I didn't even want
Zekus.
to.
Right. He
didn't even want to.
He accidentally collateraled somebody, and he was like, "Oh no!" And it's like, "What's up, dude?" He's like, "Watch what's about to happen."
I paused the game. I was like, "Tune in right now. I see this crap." So
you have to see this.
So here's the issue with this. I mean, so it can only happen once, right? So once it happens and you screw up, which I did, it can't happen again. So and after that, I just mollywopped their team. Was like, all right, free game, let's go, killing everybody. Anyways, the issue is I had a game where a Ruuto had this, right? I actually killed the Ruuto before I killed his MTheria. Okay, I killed Ruuto and the rest of the team was all right, sweet. Everybody's dead. I can go after MTheria hard. Well, Ruuto had a decoy. So I'm literally DVR BB shitting into MTheria at that moment. Mm-hmm. In the instant that I killed MTheria, Ruuto pops up with his and everyone else is like, I don't know, 2 seconds left on their death charge.
Uh-huh.
MTheria had just died, and bang, all gone from the queue, all revived instantly. And I was just like,
Holy
oh,
cow.
Solid reset.
I was like, this is just ridiculous. So I was like, but after that, I was like, all right. So I nuked his team before. I can obviously do it again. It's just that much more annoying.
It's a really interesting stability trigger. And like, you know, if you've got a defense that's 3 units that are designed to die with netherworld nature on them, and then 1 unit that's designed to not die with that, and they all die, and they all pop back up, and they've all got the stat boost, and they're all ready to go. You know, you don't run fast stuff, you run, you know, there's a whole build around
Goodness.
that. Baton to the Future exists as well.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some ridiculous shenanigans that are enabled by this, specifically in PvP. Because it really is effectively like a reset on your lives if you get 3 lives back all at the same time.
Yeah, it was frustrating.
Yet another revive effect for everyone.
So, we'll get up with the Archie there real quick. Banishment Robe, honestly, nothing to write home about.
I wasn't too impressed.
I'm not too impressed by it either. The biggest thing I'm impressed by is the mind stat. The magic damage received, sure. But the 2 attributes, getting +10 in both light and dark is kind of nice, I guess.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm not really a fan of it. It doesn't really fit. It doesn't really replace any of the robes and stuff that I use on other units.
Okay.
And again, you can't use it on. You shouldn't use it on Ruuto because he has so many armor passives.
Yeah,
like,
heck
you're
no.
not going to forego it, right? So it could be useful on MTheria if you really felt like it, but I don't see a great use for it yet. We haven't found it. I haven't found a great use for it yet.
Right.
When are we going to get the inverse of dual wield? That's dual armor. Remove
Dual
weapon,
armor.
equip 2 armors.
Dual shield.
Layered armor.
That's one way to bug Ruuto.
It'd be cool if maybe it got rid of like an accessory slot and you could equip like a clothing piece and an armor piece. Layered armor.
Layered armor. That would make
10
sense.
SC. Let's go.
Sure.
As to the skills, I think, Buddha, you talked about it in your video. I'm pretty sure you did.
I did.
But Scald, 1 near death, magic casting speed, and again, that's near death is minus 30% or less health.
No, Second loves that.
Kind of works like tranquility and patience and all this kind of stuff, where it only takes effect when you're in that zone. So, yeah, Zekus loves it. He's obviously the top candidate for it because he can chill at 1 HP for as long as he is MP and be immortal. So
just soul liberate himself down there.
I hate him in PvP.
Instantly get the buffs. Why? He's so easy. Just Sorcerer Slayer him.
Silence Resist we've seen, Fast Roll we've seen, Matisse Phaser we've seen. Wisdom Protection's new. Battle start at 5% of int to defense in mind. This is on your pre-battle stats, not on any buff stats. So going into battle, it's going to add 5% of your intelligence to defense in mind, which in Mr. Ruuto's case is really not that much. On someone else's is going to be a little bit better. Let's say you have Emilia or a Zekus with 3,000 intelligence pre-battle. I mean, that's a nice chunk of change to just like 125, 150 defense in mind additional. That's kind of nice. But I don't see much useful on Ruuto or like MTheria, who is kind of low intelligence as well. It can be useful on her a little bit, but
dumb.
Yeah, but
she's low intelligence.
Staff High Boost this is the first time we've seen Staff High Boost on an actual arc, which is probably a main drawing point of this arc. I mean, I don't really we don't have, besides science magic, we don't have good magic in this game, especially attack magic to utilize the magic attack power. And anyone that's going to have really good magic power usually have Staff High Boost equipped innately. So do I think it's good?
And it's really like it's a hybrid thing, right? Because it's physical attacks as well as magic attacks.
That's
so there's only
the main
a couple
appeal
units.
to me, is using it for a physical build for one of the mages.
For sure. I mean, like Lagravos would love this. Zekus even would probably love this. Emilia probably has some good use for it. Unless they already have it.
If you got that extra SC, if you got that 100 SC build, dude. If you got that 100 SC build.
Correct.
That clutch build, right? And you got let's say you got Flag and either Trishula or Tech Blade on Zekus, and you got that extra 9 XC spare, sure, throw it on. Do your thing. But, like...
You think it's highly luxury?
If you're building
For
a
sure.
mage Zekus, I think it's actually... So here's the thing. I know Zekus's builds, he actually does some good physical DPS damage even with a full mage build, just because his Thaumaturgy ring, and if you have flag, use it. But this would be, if you're not concentrating on physical DPS, to boost his magic attack power and to have that little physical boost, yeah, this is very good on him. But it's kind of like a niche thing. G-Luke, for sure. If you're going to concentrate a little bit more on her magic power, which I don't suggest in the first place, but if you're going to, this will work on her pretty nice.
I mean, it's useful for a fight like Lambda, right? Where you're going to be casting lightning magic anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a weird niche thing. I will say I'm a huge fan of the fact that it's on an SSR instead of being delegated to a UR like a lot of the other high boosts have been. Yep. Unfortunately, it's one of the least useful ones.
Coincidence?
Yeah, right.
Not a coincidence at all. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, Adis. Gotta love him. Gotta love him.
Gotta love him.
But
so not crazy. I'm not getting like insane vibes from that arc at all.
No, it's got some niche stuff, and like Zekus is the one who benefits the most from it, which is funny. I've been saying over the past couple weeks, like every time new stuff comes out, or every time like new items or content or whatever comes out, it's like, man, that's really good for Sage. He's just so flexible and does so many things well.
Yeah.
Just it's like hunters in early World of Warcraft. It's like, oh well, that's a hunter weapon. It's like it's a staff. Well, it's got stats on it, so it's a hunter weapon.
Yep.
And we can equip everything.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking all the gems I saved summoning for Ruuto. And that's probably going to Zekus.
Man, I hate you so much. You know, Ruuto is like the fifth character in a row I've pitied, right?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Disgusting.
Oh, God.
It's so disgusting.
I didn't know that, Crypt. I'll pray for
I
you.
also chased after Kagu enough that my Kyle is plus 12.
God.
I'm not upset about that at all.
Did you? Yeah, no.
I am not upset about a plus 12 Kyle.
Kyle is so good. The more I use him, just...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Everything about him.
PvP star Kyle. Dunk star Kyle.
Even PvE star Kyle.
PvE.
Dude,
yeah.
Did you
Big
see
fan.
my video this morning about full autoing Mega Beast?
I saw you posted it. I haven't watched it.
He is just... oh my god, man.
Nuts.
I mean, that whole Sage Zekus militia synergy with him and getting Air Vidal stacks is just ridiculous.
Insanity.
Yeah.
You know,
I love it.
You know who's really, really good with Kyle? Sage Zekus.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Your boy's about to go.
He's good with everything.
That's where these crystals
Staff high
are going.
boost. Good on Zekus. Anyway.
For sure.
Yes, Sage Zekus is literally turning into one of the best units in the game just because he's...
Right, just over the course of time, like as people use him more and as we see how flexible he really is, it's like, oh man, he's really great for multiplayer. And oh man, he's really great for clearing stuff quickly. Oh man, he's actually really good in arena too. Incredible.
Alt Tech is saying, going back to what you were saying about staff high boost, G. Lukiel? Question mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We mentioned her.
Yep. But basically any like hybrid, like magic physical hybrid that doesn't innately have it, it's good for. But only if you have like the spare SC for it. There are other higher value things that you can toss your SC at.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Well,
the Chad got his review. I mean,
yeah, Chad episode on the books. We did it.
We did it.
We talked about Chad Ruuto.
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming.
Oh, yeah. I was excited.
So this next episode, we're just talking about Ruuto.
That was
just
to be fair, there's really not much else going on. So I mean, we could talk about if you got a couple extra minutes. We can talk about what's going on with the events.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
there's still, I mean, the daily trainings is always the same thing, but the Ruuto
Yeah.
event was kind of, in my opinion, pretty lackluster at the moment. If this is what I'm seeing is the nightmare mode in the second week, it's literally just the same thing. Just
No,
nightmare.
there's no
Yeah, for
different. Yeah, it'd be nice if they
Nothing.
added some story, but
We'll
we
probably
don't know.
get added mission rewards like they do.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now it tops out at 100K, right? And I'm at 89K doing it extremely casually.
Right.
I do have all the like bonus EVP units or whatever. Also, hey, wait, real quick. Why is this menu upside down?
Menu
What do you
upside
mean?
down.
The quest menu for the new event is upside down. It is the opposite of how every single other one has ever been. The low-level quests are at the top, the high-level quests are at the bottom. Whereas every other time, low-level quests are at the bottom, high-level quests are at the top.
Let me
Why is it like that?
explain this to you.
I'm so confused and so angry.
It's put into two sections, right? But they have these placeholders already in check for when. So this quest right here is going to go away whenever it ends.
No, not
He's
not that
talking
one.
about
On
to be
Path
her
of the Holy-
shield.
Path of the Holy Knight. To be your shield.
Yes.
For whatever
Once
reason,
you beat
It's
the
opposite.
new stage, the level, the highest level stage pops out
Bro,
at the
I
bottom.
didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I did too because I went to clear the high level stage. I clicked the top one habitually, and I was
really?
like, "Oh, this
No,
isn't the right
that's
quest."
frustrating.
Yeah. A bunch of people have been like, I just wasted 20 orbs
Yeah.
doing the level 50 quest or whatever. Because, like, why is it at the top?
But did you
that's-
not notice that the final fight is DeGrogue?
Bro,
And
I haven't farmed this once.
Bro, we can't
So
read.
no.
You think we can read or notice things? We start a quest and then look away.
that is true. That is true.
I
I
look back
noticed
at
it though
completion
because I was
screen.
like, "This is not DeGrogue. This is a mob of like, what were they? Pockles."
What is happening here?
Yeah. Mega beasts.
Mega Beast, I would say if anyone's going to do this, definitely try it. I mean, it's literally free rewards. You don't have to do, what are the details?
Dude, Luke killing it right now.
Dr. Lucas
Yeah.
Who he posts videos on YouTube occasionally. So shout out to
Okay.
him.
Yep.
He,
But if
he wanted
you
that
are
free
going
advertising. He wanted that top
For
spot.
real. For
to
real.
do this for real, which he does have, still have his faster time than me. I haven't been able to perfect my build yet, and I've only had a 118.
Look at Enma.
But in barring RNG, it could turn into a 105 because I actually switched my build around a lot. But regardless, haven't made it work, so Luke's killing it. The quest rewards for this, or the ranking rewards for this, I think if you're going to do anything at all, you need to complete this at least once.
I didn't even
you
look
can't-
it up because I can't
you
get them.
you can't use supports. I mean, I can't either, but you can't use supports, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter how built your team is. The boss, this trials is not easy. I would say not easy, just because your new players aren't going to be able to do this at all.
Right.
Uh,
It's like the
but
Bloody
if
Palace
you
in a
can
sense.
make it, I mean, essentially, if you can make it 500th or better, you can top 100. That's 5 or 10 tickets. That's fantastic.
Super useful. Yeah.
Just
super
free
worth it.
tickets, man. Try to get top 500. If you're not, then whatever. But I mean, you get tickets for every single rank. Even if you do it once, you still get a ticket.
Are they
So-
showing the top 30 like they did last time?
Yeah, top 30.
Yeah, top 30.
Yeah, and it'll
so
go
what's
in the it'll go in the library too.
244? I
44
know.
is top 30.
I think I want to attempt this, but
top 10 right now is only 208.
yeah. Obviously, we're going to
and
get
then
very try hard
I'm
towards the
surprised-
closing date.
I mean, I'm surprised no one. I mean, I don't know how many Shadow Band people are attempting this, but like I'm attempting. I'm pretty close to Luke right now, but bar that, I don't know what. I don't know what anyone else is doing. No one's like been try harding it at all, like as much as I have and Luke has been.
Mhm.
But I'm surprised there's nothing in between like Brandon and Luke, or if Brandon's gotten better. And I'm just
Okay.
surprised. That's it. Because of the way Bloody Palace worked, there was a lot of people that were like top, we're trying pretty hard last time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Last time it was a ticket that guaranteed a collab unit. This time it's 3 tickets that could be anybody.
Yeah.
But it's the Stardust, bro. It's that Stardust. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
right?
guess.
Because of all the URs right now, I mean,
I think the UR Stardust
Even top-
now is
I guess
less
even- I mean-
important than it ever has been because there's more ways to get it.
Okay, so
Listen, I'm over here huffing my copium. Okay, leave me alone.
I will say this.
I can't
I
participate. My only clear is 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
which was slower than my auto. Wow, that sucks.
I'm bad at this game. Leave me alone.
So the funny thing about this is you're right. I mean, I guess there's not really much motivation if you're outside of the top 3 to do it. Because spots 1 and 2 are the only ones that get an extra UR Stardust. So if you're top 10, I get why they're not pressing, because they automatically get a UR Stardust. Like, that makes sense. But if you are pressing, you should try to get top 10. Because I can't rank. You're not taking my spot, so you might as well try it. And you got to get, at this moment, this juncture, it's 208. The Ichigo is the time you got to beat.
Also, shout out Ichigo.
Wait, shout out
Ichigo's
Ichigo. Is it any like secret that G Luke Gore is pretty much necessary to get top score?
Not necessarily necessary, but I mean, I know Enma didn't use it.
Oh wow. Okay.
But you need time stop stuff. Like, you need ults.
Yeah.
You need Soul Spark if you got it. You need G Luke ultimates. Yes. Perfect.
Right.
But you need ways to stop time that's going to do a lot of damage, and you need to manage that. Which is very hard to do to min-max. Luke's done a great job of it. I mean, my build's freaking wild. I'm not going to show that, but like...
No, of course not.
I have the video of the 118 already, but like... I mean, it's a
The funny thing is, you're not even hurting
your
yourself. Like, you would only be hurting other people, and you're still not going to do it. You're a good man, Tweacz. You're a good man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give you keys of the Ferrari, bro.
I hear you. Okay.
I personally prefer the Lambo, but okay.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I can tell you, like, I'm not BSing. It's
118. Okay.
But like, that's tough to do. It's a lot of micromanagement.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get all the way up there. I just want to be in the history books.
Learning spawns. Yeah, you should. I mean, top 50 is reasonable, right?
Well, I need to get top 30 to be solidified.
Solidified on the banner.
In the library.
You want to be on this.
Correct. Top 30.
So you're gonna be at 244 then, which is doable.
Sure. I'm gonna send it. Jawline's in there. Try to get there.
All tech.
Old Tech's in there. Brandon's up top. Yeah, he's what, number 2? Wild.
Brandon, who won the DMC event, by the way. He was the Bloody Palace champion by like 2 whole seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't even get his time. Nope. AOG Lily, the champ. I think AOG Lily will play a big part in this. I think she's a time fiend because of how effective her Soul Spark is. I think she is a fantastic unit to use in time trials.
Interesting. So, yeah, I don't know the mechanics of Soul Spark, so it's kind of going over my head.
It's time stop.
But is it just isn't it just a nuke?
Wait, do you want to see it?
It's time stop. That's what I'm saying. I don't have it. I don't think I've even taught it to any of my units because I just don't use it. But like, it's double hits. It's a nuke. It's time stop. It's considered magic. It will charge your alt gauge for whoever you have equipped on the main. Like, it's very, very useful.
Okay.
For just at any moment, and she can be revived immediately, and you can use it again.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing where this is going. All right. Well, I've got like AOG Lily 85% of the way there, so maybe this is the time.
I mean, she's definitely a time trial unit. As lackluster she is in most content, time trial she shines.
This is her niche.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right.
And I don't have her. She's one of the units I just don't have.
You don't have Tweacz? What?
Regular Lily is also very, very useful for it, and I'm pretty sure that's what Enma's using, right? Is just a regular Lily.
He didn't use her at all.
What? Fair enough.
For his time, he used, like, it was Rem, G Luke, and MTheria. Like, it wasn't...
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, he didn't have Great War Ruin. He just has good spawn placement and knows the battle because he played it enough. So, yeah.
All right. Well, time for me to jump on that then. Guys, any last-minute closing thoughts that just popped into your head?
Stretch, by the way.
You'll see it in the playback.
I felt it from here, dude.
Yeah, I did it for the squad.
closing.
So.
No, we did talk about next week per se, maybe taking a week off because there's not really much going on in the game right now, right? We just had Ruuto. I mean, there's rerun banners. It is the second anniversary, but anything new is not really coming.
Right.
We're gonna get by next week. It'll be like the Zekus banner will be up, or it'll be just finishing.
Right.
But no new unit next week.
Should you summon for Ruuto?
I mean,
if you're an endgame character or an endgame player who really enjoys arena, yeah. If you're an endgame player who has MTheria, no. If you're a new player and you want a tank, sure. If you are a new player and you want the best unit in the game, summon for MTheria.
Cool. Nice.
That's my gist of it. I don't think he's necessary for anybody right now, except for he's more of a what did we say, Krypt? He's a win more, not a win.
He's definitely like a win more condition thing than like a straight up win condition thing. Also, I just got to the last unit on IGC3 and soul sparked with Ruuto and killed it and still lost.
Wow. Yes. Interesting. What was I going to say? Well, actually thinking about it, if people want to see it, next week would be a good filler week to do like a PvP oriented podcast or a general topic.
Arena's ruined.
Arena's ruined.
Yeah.
There is no talking points.
No. it's all a dumb, boring slog through thick units with way too much HP and way too many barriers and way too many revives. I hope you guys have your DeGrogues ready. That's all I'll say for now.
Okay, so scrap that. Then I'll say maybe how the mindset when building a character.
For sure. I mean,
a stream like
I'm
that.
mostly we could totally do a PvP if you would like.
I know you're getting me with that sarcasm.
I'm down.
Krypt.
I'm down.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it more. In our little group chat
and maybe we'll come up with some fun shit since it'll be our 10th episode.
10th episode, everybody. 2 hands, double digits.
It's way too many.
Cool.
I can't count that high.
No. Small
I'm
brain.
surprised we found enough content to make up to this many.
You're right. Small brand gang. So, with all that being said, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you to my co-host, as always. And until next time, y'all know what we say. Work hard, play harder. See you in the next podcast.